she talked me into going to a Buddha meeting. And I didn't know what kind of Buddha meeting it was. But when I got there, they were trying to convert, English-speaking people to Buddha. Well, I grew up, as a Catholic and a Pentecostal. One Sunday I was one church, one Sunday the other. I didn't really follow God, but I knew who He was. I knew He was the God of the Bible. And they started to tell me that Buddha was God. And I went, no, Buddha's not God. I'm sure of that. And I couldn't tell him anything about God because I didn't know anything. Other than He was the God of the Bible. My grandmother believed in Him. So after about an hour of pounding me, he got so mad at me. He just got in my face and went, if your God's so good, why is He going to let a billion Chinese go to hell? And I went, I don't have a clue. And so, I got out of the Marine Corps. About 10 years later, I was on the way to the bathroom. And there was a plain truth there. The first article I read was about how God was going to save a billion Chinese. So, the devil planted that seed. So I read it, it was all scripture. So I decided I was going to be religious. So I ran right out and bought me a New King James Bible. I told God I'm going to believe every word in it. I don't care what any man says. Well, start right off, New King James. So I stayed in this cult about 9 years. And a friend of mine died, and he was a Pentecostal. I didn't even know he was Pentecostal. I went to the funeral, and I carried my Bible with me. But I didn't want them messing with me. So they started talking about the rapture. And I'd seen cars going down the road that had rapid, this person may be raptured out here, watch out for this car. And I couldn't find it in the Bible, so I thought it was nonsense. And you look it up, it's not in there. And here I have my Bible, and he was talking about it, and what it is. And all of a sudden, I got a problem. Here I am, following Moses' law, or trying to, looking for Peter's hole, and here's something new that I've never seen before. So I struggled with that and struggled with it. And I finally decided, it was time to move on. So I go to the Pentecostal church. They showed me this new light. And I stayed there for about 14 years. But all this time I was reading my Bible for what I thought was Bible. By this time I didn't just have a King James, I had an NIV, New King, every one you can think of. And I used the King James because when I couldn't find something, a word to look up in the concordance, I'd have to go find out what that word was from the King James. I didn't get it. But finally, after all that time, I knew I was lost. Before, when I was in the cult, I thought it was my inheritance. And I hadn't been cut off, and now I realize, there's doubt there. And so all of a sudden I realized I'm lost. And for 14 years I tried to get saved. And I asked him, how do you repent, get baptized, one thing after another. But the problem I had is I couldn't quit sinning. Every time I turned around, I was doing something I knew was wrong. And I didn't know what the problem was. So I finally got frustrated with all of it. And I was riding down the road, and I looked at all these churches. There must be about 10 on this one street that I've been to every one of them. And I said, Lord, I guess I'm just going to go to hell because I don't know how to get saved. And I said, there's nobody in these churches, do we? So I didn't go to church for a few weeks, and a friend of mine got word about me. So he called me. He said, there's a guy on TV, you need to watch him. He said, you and him think just alike. Well, it was Barry Hampton. So I watched TV, and I realized, I don't think like this guy. I don't know nothing he knows. But the first thing he taught on was the King James Bible. And he went to Galatians 2:16, and when I saw it was the faith of Christ, I threw every Bible I had away. I didn't give them away, I threw them away. I was told on wasn't scared of churches. I'd had enough of them. So I was looking at his website, and I started seeing and his was about the cross. And for the first time, I realized Jesus. I thought, religion had taught me that you take up your cross and follow Jesus. And I realized, even though I'd already give up, I realized at that moment, Jesus didn't come and show me how to get there. He come to do it. And I just sit there with, after all those years of being lost and wanting to be saved,